Championship. Now the 5AA forecast: late showers today, 21. Tomorrow, early rain easing to showers, 18. A possible shower, 17 on Saturday. Similar conditions Sunday, 16. Then cloudy Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, temps staying in the mid-teens. More news as it happens on 5AA.
13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Peter Godfrey.
Time now, 7 minutes past 5. It is very warm out there. I think we can use the word warm. 18 degrees. It's, 17.7. We'll take it as 18 degrees. It's pretty much been that all night. Very balmy indeed. We've got some northerlies. I think that's probably what accounts for it. We need Jane here this week to tell us why it's so warm, but I think it's probably the northerlies bringing a little bit of warm air down. Very nice indeed. We can brag about that. Let's in fact brag about it with Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz, as we take a look at what's happening across the ditch. Selwyn, how are you this morning?
Yeah, very good, Peter. I certainly haven't been basking in that kind of balmy weather, but it's been around about 8 degrees in Auckland overnight, and probably sitting around the mid-teens as a high, I think, today. A little bit of storm cloud around, but that'll soon pass, I think.
Okay.
But that 18 degrees sounds fantastic.
Yeah. It would have been nice to be out and enjoying it, but it was lovely coming in tonight. Didn't even need the heater on in the car and had the window down. Beautiful. You'll
all be al fresco dining at night before you know it.
That's right.
You'll be sitting on the streets enjoying your cafe dinners.
Yeah. If it was to continue, I don't think it is. We got some rain this afternoon, and then we get back down to lower temperatures again, sort of as the week progresses. So, never mind. And we're basking in the glory of being making a list of the 5th most livable city in the world.
Adelaide, yes.
Yes. I don't know. We're kind of bragging a bit. Sorry, Selwyn.
Oh, no,
this segment's supposed to be about you, but we're bragging a bit as well.
No, that sounds really good, doesn't it? And Melbourne, it topped the list, I understand.
Yeah. Again, for I think several years in a row.
Now, I've been caught out on this one a bit, Peter. I just do not know where Auckland factored at all.
Well, I can tell you, I've found the entire list here. You made the top 10. Auckland came in at number 9.
Well, there you go. That's not too bad.
Yeah, just behind Perth.
Behind Perth. Well, so this is a global one.
Yes, 140
so you've got,
countries.
Melbourne topping it. You've got Adelaide in number 5.
Yep.
Presumably Perth comes in somewhere around 7 or 8.
8 Perth is. Sydney was 7, Perth was 8.
And Auckland 9.
9.
I mean, that's some turnout for the down under cities, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it looks Australia and Canada seem to be sort of the dominant ones in the top 10. Both Vancouver, Toronto and Calgary also in the top 10. In fact, we tied with Calgary. We're both equal 5th.
Did you?
Yeah.
Number 5 tie. Calgary, of course, from those Winter Olympics all those years ago, looked fantastic here as far as the showcase there and the culture, etc. But that's impressive, isn't it, really, in the sense you see I'm trying to claw back some sort of kudos here,
yes, you can take the kudos. You're in the top 10. Yeah.
But usually when these things come out, you'll see Geneva and cities like that popping up as ones to compare against. But and I guess the way of dealing with this and determining is purely on that lifestyle, what's available, the ease of getting around, the disposable income, all of those kind of things coming into alignment.
Yeah, I think there's several factors they sort of rated cities on, issues of crime, healthcare, infrastructure, education, culture and environment and things like that. So there's half a dozen or more factors they sort of scored cities on gave them a score of 100.
Well, we can't moan when we lose in sport when we're in the most livable one, in the top 10 anyway.
In the top 10, that's right.
Auckland's is popping.
Yeah.
So that's something, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's get on to other things happening in your part of the world. First story, following on from last week, this bizarre Saudi sheep farm deal. It's rolled on again further with more fallout from that. Tell us more.
Yeah, it won't go away, this issue, Peter. This week, the government's auditor watchdog, the Auditor General, she initiated an official inquiry into this whole scandal. Now, just quickly as a backdrop to this, what it's all about is in 2007, the Labor-led government banned the export of live animals, particularly sheep, this is about, for slaughter, 2008, the National Party was in government. 2009, the Agricultural Minister, David Carter, who's now New Zealand's parliamentary speaker, he began negotiations with Saudi Arabia for a resumption of live sheep exports to that region. 2010, the national government it reversed that kind of talks, and it extended the ban on live exports, so that was the following year. Then 2013, the Cabinet approved Foreign Affairs Minister Murray McCully's deal to pay, in the first instance, $4 million to a man called Hamoud Al-Khalaf, who is a businessman up in Saudi Arabia. Apparently he had complained that he'd missed out on a lot of viable profit because of New Zealand's decision to stop that live sheep exports. The government here, the Cabinet, under McCully's advice, or suggestion, I suppose it's more accurate to say, paid for the establishment of an agri-hub to promote New Zealand agriculture in Saudi Arabia as part settlement of a long-standing dispute between the New Zealand government and Mr. Al-Khalaf. Now, then in 2013, again, the Cabinet approved a further $6 million to be paid to businesses here in New Zealand and others to deliver their services to help set up that farm for Mr. Al-Khalaf. And the government also agreed to pay $1.5 million for 900 pregnant ewes, and this is the weird kind of thing as well on top of this, to be flown up to the Saudi farm of Mr. Al-Khalaf on board a Singapore Airlines. And we talked last time, we raised about this, how bizarre that must be to be piloting a Singapore Airlines aircraft all the way from New Zealand to Saudi Arabia, and your whole, all your people on board are basically 900 sheep chatting away in the back, redefining what cattle class is about. This is bovine class.
It's almost something out of Monty Python, isn't it?
Well, yeah, perfect for a Monty Python thing. You can see the meaning of life being
exactly.
reshaped into something like this.
Yeah.
But so those jokes aside, the allegations have started to build that. What on earth is New Zealand doing? The opposition party saying, what on earth is the New Zealand government doing? Basically presenting some sort of bribe, because what they're talking about there was, the New Zealand government, Murray McCully, the Prime Minister, insisting that this was a good way of promoting New Zealand in that region, and also as facilitating a free trade agreement with the Gulf states that Mr. Al-Khalaf, it has been said publicly on numerous occasions that he is well connected in the Saudi government. He's not a part of it, but he's well connected there, and that any grievance that he was having with New Zealand was basically a rock in the road for New Zealand being able to sell its product up in that part of the world. Got to say, though, however, the Prime Minister was on radio only about a week ago about this, and he was saying, well, there was a good thing for New Zealand, getting this thing going. It's showing the brand, all that type of thing. The agri-hub is the big deal. They're able to demonstrate what New Zealand's about in a part of the world that is quite different, obviously. But then again, when you look at the detail of those 900 sheep that were flown up there by Singapore Airlines, 75% of them died, Peter.
Oh, okay.
So the Prime Minister really wasn't pushed on, well, where's the good demonstration around New Zealand's quality if they're all pegging out once they got there. Yeah. So there's all sorts around that. Anyway, what has happened, standing back from this a little bit and all the detail and the weirdness of it, Peter, is the the Auditor General, a woman called Lynn Provost. Now, she has initiated an inquiry into it. She says specifically she'll be investigating the following, and the bullet points are here. The amount of public money budgeted and spent on this, and she refers to it as a partnership, how it's been used, the outcomes achieved with it. So remember, the Prime Minister said about a week ago, that there were certain things that the New Zealand government had achieved on it, but she's looking into being specific about that. Whether the expenditure on services was within the appropriations of vote, foreign affairs and trade as authorised by Parliament. Now, that's quite a serious one. It's basically the intent of Parliament, when it does its confidence and supply thing like you guys do in your Parliament, that was this money that Parliament passed, was this money used for this particular deal? Was it within the scope of that? The intention was that there? Was the government okay in spending this kind of money. She also goes that the procurement and contract management practices used by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and, of Trade and Enterprise, I should say, to purchase services relating to the public partnership, whether the services received were in keeping with the business case and contract specifications, and any other related matter that she considers it desirable to inquire into and report on. So she's very opened up that scope of her own inquiry there. So if any kind of strange things pop out of the woodwork, then she's going to be able to look at that. And remember that the government had kept all of this kind of thing totally secret, out of the public eye, until the beginning of this year, so years after, when it started to come out via Television New Zealand. So good on them for digging in and finding something there.
Yeah.
Labour's trade spokesperson David Parker, he in particular has been digging into this, but also the new leader of the Green Party here as well, James Shaw. But David Parker, he is basically he has been giving full confidence to the Auditor General. There seems to be a lot of respect for her office to get down to the tin tacks of all of this. In the meantime, the Labour Party, as you would imagine, has called for Foreign Minister Murray McCulley to be stood down pending the outcome of this inquiry, Peter. Now, it may take some months, and it seems that the government is reluctant to even listen to the opposition's call on that.
Okay, so he's not likely to be stood down, would be the thought.
It's such a difficult portfolio to stand the guy down. It seems he spends so much of his time overseas, no one can pin him down on the questions, let alone get some answers.
Okay.
So it's almost a where's Murray today type of thing, you know. He's over there. Oh, no, he's nowhere near a telephone. He can't speak to anyone about this, but one would imagine he can speak to the Prime Minister and be told off if the Prime Minister so wishes to. But it seems a bit elusive at this stage.
Okay, interesting. I'm sure we're going to speak more on this as that inquiry gets into some of those details.
Yes, but just before we go to that wonderful break, Peter, the thing I've got to underscore here is how serious this is. That the perception among other countries that may be resisting negotiations for advancing a free trade or something like that with New Zealand, where they think, okay, we can do a little bit better as far as a cash bung. The English refer to it as a bung, don't they? Like something in the back pocket to facilitate the gate to open. And that's the worry here, that New Zealand's reputation of being a fairly honest broker in negotiations is actually being tarnished when money is being paid to a person who may be well connected to others that make decisions.
Okay, indeed. Have to take that break, Selwyn. Be right back with you with other things to talk about from your part of the world. Be right back in a moment. Selwyn Manning with us, editor of EveningReport.nz.
David Penberthy, Mark Aston and Jane Riley for breakfast.
The issue of gay marriage. We are going to get a rainbow-coloured footpath in Light Square. That's been discussed as a celebration of same-sex marriage.
Look forward to that. I hope there's a pot of gold at the end of it in Light Square.
I go down there with your red shoes on, Mark.
Exactly.
Non-slip, imagine that. You'll only be able to do 5 kilometres an hour on it.
The 5AA Breakfast Show. Weekday mornings from 6 on 1395. Adelaide's 5AA. Get out back and back again with Isuzu Utes Outback Ready Deals. Tackle the tough terrain with the Isuzu D-Max 4x4 LSU Crew Cab Ute for just $42,990 drive away. Or head off the beaten track with a top-of-the-range 7-seat Isuzu MUX 4x4 Auto for only $50,990 drive away. For terms and conditions, see isuzuute.com.au or head down to your local Isuzu Ute dealer today. With the best deals, offers and events in Adelaide, this is 5AA's What's Happening.
Go to your local Mitsubishi dealer and you won't get past the unbeatable Challenger run-out deal and the free auto upgrade on Lancer, Mirage Sedan and Outlander. Go now! Visit Spartan Electrical to experience Siemens' new IQ 700 cooking range. Visit spartanelectrical.com.au, SA's leading retailer of kitchen, laundry and home entertainment appliances.
Now you know what's happening.
At Spine Care Chiropractic, we celebrate the benefits of a healthy spine. Every day, every moment, every second. So if you've been saying something needs to change, or your productivity is low, or you just can't kick those headaches, do something about it. Book a consultation now. Through a comprehensive movement analysis and nerve scan, we'll get to the core of what's holding you back and tailor your care to find the optimum you. For your nearest location, visit spinecarechiropractic.com.au.
Want a party that's made to order? The Maid of Auckland has your function covered. At The Maid, you'll find a great new function room to cover something small right through to larger parties or corporate functions. A 30th or anniversary, a conference or sporting group, you've got it made at The Maid. Competitive packages are available and can include selections from the brand new menu filled with pub classics. Your party or function is ready-made. The Maid of Auckland, South Road, Edwardstown.
Peter Godfrey on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
And we're taking a look at things happening across the ditch. Selwyn Manning with us, editor of EveningReport.nz. Now, Selwyn, being both good and bad news, both sides of the ditch, sporting related in the past week since we last spoke. The rugby, well, the All Blacks took it out again.
Yes, that was a bit of a turnaround, wasn't it? Certainly Eden Park's reputation for having, delivered a result for the Kiwis certainly came through. The All Blacks, it was an absolute fantastic kind of display of, their style of rugby, I guess. And what was that score, 41-13? That really showed in the second half, really a very, very top team at the top of their game. Now, that was obviously the turnaround from the Wallaby team, absolutely giving the All Blacks a hiding the previous week in Sydney. So I guess, back on this side of the ditch, Peter, the media has been preoccupied with a couple of things. One, celebrating the win in such a big way, and also because it's the last time the captain, Richie McCaw, and people like Dan Carter in the fly half number 10 position, it's the last time they'll be playing as an All Black in New Zealand. So there was a number of others as well, but the focus has been on that. But certainly from the point of view of Australia did the All Blacks a favour in beating them in Sydney, in a sense, like we spoke last week. It was awoken. The All Blacks were awoken from their slumber and really reminded that, in the World Cup, all you have to do is lose one game and you're out. Yeah. And, that was really rammed home. Now, of course, over there, at the World Cup, it starts mid-September, Peter, and I'll just bring it up so I get the exact date.
September 18, I think, it gets underway, doesn't it?
Yes. So Australia is in that Pool A, and that's a really tough one, and you guys are facing off against England, Wales and Fiji in your pool. And so whoever comes out of that pool is going to be battle-hardened, we say, as opposed to battle-weary, I think. And it's certainly going to be a hard one in a sense for the All Blacks because they have got a relatively easier pool at Pool C. To get through to the quarterfinals, the All Blacks need to beat either Argentina, well, their opponents are Argentina, Tonga, Georgia and Namibia.
Okay.
So
yep.
Those are the challenges there. The hardest of those for the All Blacks will obviously be Argentina, and there are concerns over the side of the ditch that it's a bit of a soft run for the world champions in getting through in that Pool C. But all eyes will be watching that Pool A where you guys are, Peter. Certainly over here to see really who is on form. Certainly. The word is that while Australia was trying out different players like Quade Cooper last Saturday at Eden Park, it knows how to win decisively when it gets its key team on the field, and it's going to be an interesting World Cup. So
Indeed,
I just thought we'd mention that, and of course, you guys won the Netball World Cup.
The World Cup, yeah.
Great game between your Australian netball team and the New Zealand Silver Ferns, and we just weren't able to match that. So congratulations on that one coming across from here. But back on that, rugby just preoccupied. It's like a religion over here.
I know, yes.
And the All Black captain Richie McCaw, he said, there's a bit of a quote here from the New Zealand Herald, and he says, in Sydney, while we didn't think about it, maybe in our subconscious, we knew we always had next week. At the World Cup, you don't have that. Now, what he's talking about is maybe he's admitting there was a complacency there in the back of their minds that, if we lose to Australia and Sydney, it doesn't really matter. We can always balance that out at Eden Park and we'll really put on a blinder. But he's obviously admitting to, that is a possibility and that the World Cup, every game counts.
Yeah, indeed. I saw a fabulous quote from our side of it in the Sydney Morning Herald, on the Sydney Morning Herald website. Eden Park is a torture chamber for the Wallabies. Clive Palmer could become a national hero by purchasing it and burning it to the ground.
Well, there you go.
So
the only thing stopping in your way is, the police and the fire.
Yeah. I'm sure Mr. Palmer wouldn't do that, but
that's a great one, isn't it?
Yeah, just amused me when I saw that. There we go.
Yeah, just to rub salt in that wound. It is 1986 since the Wallabies beat the All Blacks at Eden Park. There's a shocking tradition. Alan Jones, it was the coach at the time.
Oh, right, yeah, of course, yeah.
Well celebrated coach, and apparently he said in the Sydney Morning Herald, one of the papers over in that part of the world, he said last week, prior to that match on Saturday, that it's one of the records that he has set that he would like to see broken.
Okay, yeah, fair enough too.
But the thing is that it's an interesting thing, isn't it? This tradition around these parks. In a sense, you guys have it in your sports, particularly in the cricket. I guess just about any team in the world is not terrified, but they know they're up against it when they go into those big stadiums that you guys have over there.
Yeah.
The conditions
the
are
hallowed ground.
Well used to that.
Indeed. Selwyn, good talking to you. Thank you for joining us this morning on the program. Have a great week, and we'll catch you again next week.
We'll see you soon, Peter.
All right, bye-bye. Selwyn Manning, editor of EveningReport.nz.
Together with Variety SA, 5AA will host Adelaide's first ever radiothon, raising funds for Variety, the children's charity. On Friday, August 21st, you have the chance to bid on a range of items, including the ultimate degustation luncheon for you and 5 friends at the Kitchen Door, Penny's Hill Winery, McLaren Vale, including museum wine tasting and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take a private scenic flight over the Southern Vales. To find out more, visit 5AA.com.au. All thanks to Penny's Hill Winery, Variety SA and 1395 Adelaide's 5AA.
Honey, Sam needs a new uniform and school
bag of plaster. And a circular.
Saw some cheap flights. If you still want to visit your...
Pop the bonnet, love. Let's have a look.
Life never stops. There's always something unexpected around the corner. But a GE Money personal loan has got you covered. One of our trusted experts will work with you to find a solution for your needs and your budget, with loans starting from $3,000. It's money on your terms with no surprises. Visit